May 2023, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was very hard to accept. I was 40. I had just done my very first mammogram and I received a call back. So what happened was I usually do my annual exams at the beginning of the calendar year. So I had just done my regular yearly screening and then I was scheduled to go in for my very first mammogram. Here we have the option to start our mammogram at age 40 to 45. It's annually but optional, and then starting at age 45, you do it every year. So I went in for my mammogram, got that done, and then about a week from then I got a letter in the mail asking me to schedule a diagnostic mammogram and that there was some findings. So I had to go in for a callback. And at that time, I did get a little worried and I looked up, and when I did my research, seemed like a lot of people do get callbacks on their very first mammogram because it's the very first one. There is no baseline, nothing to compare against. So I didn't make much of it. I did go back and get my mammogram done, which was like another week from then. So like 2 weeks from the time that I had first done my original mammogram. Now, after that, when I did that in the morning, the radiologists were wanting me to come back for an ultrasound and also wanted to do a biopsy. Again, was trying to stay positive, but of course those first 2 weeks were very traumatic, very chaotic. My mind was all messed up. But anyways, did my ultrasound, and then in the afternoon, when I was scheduled for my biopsy, went in. The doctor, did the usual biopsy procedure, but while doing that, when she was trying to poke the needle in, it felt very hard to her and she kind of grunted. And then later she apologized to me and said, I shouldn't have been as vocal or shouldn't have grunted, but I am not liking what I'm seeing, and I think you should brace yourself, and also gave me a list of breast surgeons to start looking through. That really was something that I was not prepared to hear. It was just crazy. And then, of course, we had to wait for the results. And then from then on to the time that I heard the results was another 4-5 days. So it was a Sunday. The radiologist called me back. My family, we were driving back from just like a casual ride. Had my husband, myself, and my daughter in the car, and got the call from the radiologist, and she said, do you have a moment? Can we talk now? And then I said yes, and she said, I'm sorry to say you're positive with breast cancer. And sort of had like I don't think I had any feelings. Like, it was quite numbing. Like, I couldn't, it was just crazy. And felt like everything was like in slow motion. It was just me, nothing else around. I didn't even know how to react, honestly. No one prepares you for this. So, but then, yeah, so that's how I got the news. I have been sharing all of this with my daughter, who's 11 years old. From the very beginning, she's very mature, and I knew she could handle it. She would understand, and she would be my support system. So she was always in the know, and I kept it positive for her. Although it was like hard for me to stay positive, I had to do it for her. And yeah, it was quite hard until the time that I got the results back or was confirmed about my diagnosis. Of course, it was chaotic, but even after that, it was quite crazy. Not knowing what's going to be happening next, how we're going to treat this, if this was even like treatable. I had like so many questions running through my mind. I threw myself at all sorts of researches, trying to find stuff online, getting my questions ready for my doctor. By that time, we were already shortlisting doctors, reading up reviews, and started calling and scheduling meetings with the doctor. So we decided that we are gonna speak not to just one doctor but two, and we got on their calendars. We had a great feeling with the first doctor, who actually sat us down and went through everything in minute details and helped me understand a lot of the results that I got as part of my biopsy results and my ultrasound results and my lab results. So that was helpful. And then also at the end of the meeting, we came out with a plan on how to treat my cancer. So once you're diagnosed with cancer, I think everything changes. Your world is not the same anymore. It's just not. I got diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 40 in March 2023. I never expected it. I was healthy, and it's just going about with my life and my work and my family. And then the news hit me. I remember the day when I heard about my breast cancer diagnosis. Of course, it was crazy, but it was a Sunday, and I had to go back to work next day. Well, I was working remotely, but yeah, I had work next day, Monday. So Monday, March 20th, I let people at work know that I would have to take some time off to get my cancer treatment started, and would be out for doctor's visits and stuff like that, in the short term, and then in a few more days I'll probably get started with my treatment. So would have to apply for leave. So I had to do transition of my work, so I could exit gracefully. There was of course nothing that got me prepared for this. The day I had gone back to work after the news, I could not focus. I just could not focus. I remember telling, my manager that I'll probably have to take a little bit of time to process everything, because it was just so much all at once. I was overcome with so many feelings all at once. Felt hopeless, felt alone. Although I had, awesome family supporting me, rooting for me. And I got a lot of positive thoughts and comments back from my work people, and a lot of support there too. But yeah, just could not carry on, couldn't focus. I remember just unplugging from work, and my daughter was at school. It was the middle of the day. I shut everything down, took the car, just drove around for a little bit, and then parked at an empty parking lot by some shops, and turned my car off and just cried. Just cried. Yeah, it was hard. But also, the same day, once I sort of like got some of those feeling out my system, I knew I had a life to go back. I had my family, my work, everything else, that, things wouldn't stop, or they will get affected, but life goes on. So I needed to stay positive for myself, for my loved ones, people around me, and I had to see myself fight this and make sure I don't give up easy. So I got back, and I just started doing my research, started listening to stories about others that have gone through similar breast cancer journeys, and started to educate myself. Again, there was a lot to learn, lots of questions, but I needed to get ready to ask questions and directly hear from my breast surgeons on what exactly is going to happen for me to treat my breast cancer. And thus started my journey.